welcome to Explore Insights. In this video, I would like to take you on Cisco Lab 4.7.1, which has to do with connecting the physical layer. So we'll be covering this with 4 objectives. Part 1 is to identify the physical characteristics of internetworking devices. Part 2 is to select correct modules for connectivity. Part 3 is to connect devices. And lastly, part 4 is to check connectivity. But before we proceed, if you're just joining this video or this channel for the first time, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Thank you for doing so. So let's continue. Looking at the background, in this activity, you will explore the different options available on internetworking devices. So you'll be required to determine which options provide the necessary connectivity while connecting multiple devices. Finally, you will add the correct modules and connect the devices. Now you should note that also in this configuration, scoring for this activity is a combination of packet tracer, automated scoring, and the recommended answer to the question will be post in the instruction. Okay, so if you have any challenge, please just make sure you look at the video very well. You can actually play back if you make any mistake and see what I've done. So to start with, we will take on with part 1, which is to identify the physical characteristics of internetworking devices. So let's go with step 1. In step 1, we need to identify the management port of a Cisco router. So how do we do that? First, in A, we need to click the East router. That is, the physical tab should be active. Now, we go over to the topology in the Cisco packet tracer and look around where is the East router over here. So we'll click on the East and it says we should go to physical. Let me keep this by the side so that we can follow on with the instruction. It says zoom in and expand the window to see the entire router. Remember, we are in the physical tab. So while we zoom in, it means we have to press this. And you zoom in, what can you see? In the lab exercise, we are asked which management ports are available. So let's check which one are available. So let me zoom this. So if you look here, you have the aux, UEX, and the console ports here. Okay. So I mean within this axis, the aux and the console port. So to better answer that, I've written the answer for you. Now, the second one says, which lab and WAN interfaces are available on the East router and how many are they? So having done that, the next question says, which LAN and WAN interfaces are available on the East router and how many are they? So let's look at what we have. Now, if you check through here, you notice that we are going to get 2 serial and 2 gigabyte Ethernet interfaces. Here is for the gigabytes, and this tells us about the serial, the 2 of them. Now, specifically, if you want to know further what exactly is this interfaces, you have to go to the CLI, click enter, EN, and you say show IP interface brief. Okay. So if you look there, if you look what I have here, so just asking you about these interfaces. So the interfaces we have is 2 gigabyte Ethernet and 2 serial. And specifically that's gigabyte Ethernet 0/0, gigabyte Ethernet 0/1, the serial 0/0/0, and then the serial 0/0/1. So that's to tell us that we're going to have 2 serial and 2 gigabyte Ethernet. So, and I've written the answer out for you to have a look in that. So the next thing is click the CLI tab, press the enter key to access the user mode prompt and enter the following. So we have done that. So it says the output verifies the correct number of the interfaces and their designation. The VLAN 1 interfaces is a visual interface that only exists in the software. So how many physical interfaces are listed? So we have 4. So which LAN and VLAN interfaces are available on the East router and how many are there? So there are 4, like I just rightly explained. Now enter the following command. So we want to enter this command. Show interface gigabyte Ethernet 0/0. So do that with me. Show interface gigabytes Ethernet 0/0. And then you press the enter key. What are you going to see? So the next question we have here says, what is the default bandwidth of this interface? What is the default bandwidth? Now, if you look here, you're not going to see the bandwidth written out. Rather, you'll see something like BW. So BW represents the bandwidth. This. What's the bandwidth? So looking at this, the bandwidth is represented with BW, and you can see the value there. So this is what we're going to have. Now we'll check over for show interface serial 0/0/0. So let's go ahead to do for that one. So we have serial 0/0/0. Press the enter key. So similar to what you saw before, you're going to see it as BW. So you see that as BW here. And this time we have 1544 KB. So just copy the answer and then you fix over here. Okay. So let's go to the next thing. The next thing is step 2. Identify the module expansion slots. Now, how many expansion slots are available to add additional modules to the East router? So you have to pay attention to this. You say to add additional modules to the East router. So all we need to do, you go back to the physical and then you check. But before you look at what I have, let me show you how it is. Now, when we talk about the modules, it's talking about this. So when you click here, take a look here. When you click here, it's going to be empty, so you need to click again to bring it out. But it's asking, is there any additional module here? So it's asking here. So you can see that when you click here, this represents the cover. That means this is the cover, right? So, and if you even want to check for any additional module, you need to switch off and see where you can fit any of these modules. Can you fit it here? Can you fit it here? You can see you cannot fit it here because this is covered. So, but can I fit it here? Yes. So in return, you can tell that this is the only part you can add. So this is why my answer is, so there is only one expansion slot available. Now, we are asked to go to switch 2. Now, pay attention. I'm just here to answer the question. So when I don't want it, I just take it out. So remember to turn on the east router by clicking here when you're done. So let's see what we have here. In the second question, it says click the switch to. So where is this switch to? Yeah, okay. Now click it. How many expansion slots are available? When we click it, we're trying to check the expansion slots. Now, this is quite different from the router. For the switch, let's play around with what we have. You can see, if you move close to it, you see that it has cover, right? But can we add a module to it? So first of all, I'm going to switch that off. And I try to play around with the module. So in this case, I can actually take the cover away, as you can rightly see, right? So it means that I can do the same for 5 of them. And I can replace it back. So if I take away the cover, it means I can put any of those module here and it's going to work. If I don't want that, I pull it off. Now, that tells you that for the additional module, we can put in 5 of this port, okay? So we can put in 5 of them. So to answer that, we can say that the module we can use around here is 5 as compared to the router. So let's go to answer that question. So there are 5 expansion slots available. Now let's move over to part 2. In part 2, select correct modules for connectivity. We need to start with step 1. So it says determine which modules provide the required connectivity. But first, you need to click the east and then click the physical tab. On the left, beneath the modules label, you'll see the available options to expand the capabilities of the router. Click each module. A picture and a description display at the bottom. Familiarize yourself with these options. So I'm going to do that in few minutes. So follow me. We have to go to the east again. This one, the east router. And while we click on it, it said we should get back to the physical tab. Beneath the modules label, you'll see available options. So we have like about 6 options here. Now, when you click on each of this module, you're going to see something beneath, right? So this will be the information you'll be seeing. This will be the information you'll be seeing for each of them. So please, you have to take a look at this and read it because I really don't want to make this video very lengthy. So I wouldn't want to read through. So, but just follow me the way I'm taking you through. For this one specifically, it says it can provide 4 switching ports for us. Now, this one says it can provide 8 asynchronous EIA 232 connections to console ports. Now, this is just the cover for protection, and the SMD, which operates in the gigabytes of the Cisco and smart grid switches and router. So we'll be able to familiarize ourselves with these different options, which are 6 modules. So in this part, we have that you need to connect PCs 1, 2, and 3 to the east router, but you do not have the necessary funds to purchase a new one. So which module can you use to connect the 3 PCs? So this is a very good question to the east router. So let's see, what do we have? Now go back to this module. In this module, while you clicked on each of them and as you took a glance on that, which module do you think is suitable to connect the 3 pieces? Which? Now, without wasting much of your time, you can see that it is this one because it says that it provides 4 switching ports. So HWIC 4ESW can do that for us. Okay. So for us to answer that question, you need to write it out. So which I've written out here, and I've given my reason. So the other one says, how many hosts can you connect to the router using this model? Which model? It's talking about question 1. How many? We can see here that it says 4. So it means up to 4 hosts we can. So the next question we have is in 1B, which says, click switch 2. Which model can you insert to provide a gigabyte optical connection to switch 3? So which? Okay, so let's see. Click switch 2. When you click switch 2, now you go to the physical. Just like you did the same for the east router, go through the models and see for yourself which one can provide the gigabyte optical. So if you go through each of them, you could see that while you read this, it specifically says provides gigabyte Ethernet optical. Okay, now that is for which model? That is for PT switch NM-IFGE. So this is why I've written the answer here. Step 2 says add the correct models and power up devices. So how do we do that? First, for the east, you need to click the east router and attempt to insert the appropriate model for step 1A. Models are added by clicking the models and dragging into the empty slot on the devices. So the cannot add a model when the power is on message should display. Interfaces for this router model are not hot swappable. So just to shorten the whole text there, let's just go to the east router. Now, click on the east router. At this point, we are to add the correct model, following what we have in 1A for the east router. Now, which model did we say we will go for? If you recall, it was this model, okay? Now, all you need to do is remember to switch off the device. So I'm going to switch off the device. And when I switch off the device over here, I'll take the correct module and fix it here. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to switch that on. Just in case you forgot to switch off, it will tell you that you cannot add when the power is on. So make sure you switch it off before you add the module. Okay. So the next thing we have is using the same procedure, insert the module that you identified in step 1B. So let's do the same for 1B. Now, for the 1B, we need the switch, and that is switch 2. So going over to switch 2, we said this is it, but we need to switch off. So come here. So you need to switch this off, just in case if it is on, switch it off. Okay, so once I switch it off, recall, we say it is this. So we'll insert correctly. So having done that, we proceed with the next question. Now in the next question, now remember to switch on once you're done. Let's switch that on. So let's proceed. The next thing we have here is 2C. 2C says use the show IP interface brief command on switch 2 to identify the slot in which the module was placed. Okay, so we are moving over to switch 2. We will go to the CLI, tap your enter key, EN, Once we get to the privilege mode, you say show IP interface brief. Press your enter key. So it will be able to show you which slots is that model placed. So if you look here, we have that as the gigabyte 5/1. Now, in which slot was it inserted? So let's go back to check on the physical mode. If you count through here, it was inserted here. But how do you count properly? So take a look here. This started from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What that means from here. So count with me. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you notice, as I click around here, it comes with a pop-up name. That's to tell you which module is that. Okay, so let's proceed. So to answer that question, into which slot was it inserted? So I'll be able to show you both on the physical and on the CLI. So that answer is gigabyte Ethernet 5/1. Okay, so in part 3, we need to connect the devices. So first, this may be the first activity you have done where you are required to connect devices, although you may not know the purpose of the different cable types. So use this table below and follow these guidelines to successfully connect all the devices. So for 3A, 3B, 3C, it says select the appropriate cable type, click the first device and select the specified interface. C says click the second device and select the specified interface. And D said if you have correctly connected 2 devices, you will see your score increase. So I'll show you that as we proceed. So remember, we are going to use this table, and let me explain what this table really means. For example, this will be the guide for the configuration. If you are to connect the east to switch 1, you have to select the copper straight through cable type. Then you click east and choose gigabyte Ethernet 0/0. Then click switch 1 and choose gigabyte Ethernet 0/1. Your score will now be 4/55. Note, for the purpose of this activity, link lights are disabled. Okay, so let's proceed with this connection. That's pretty easy. So just follow the table and do the needful. So I'll be starting from the first one. So take note of what I'll be doing. So from the east, I'm going to take copper straight cable, which is here. So click on connection. When you click on connection, you have copper straight through. So you click from east. When you click from east, what should you take? It says you should take the gigabyte Ethernet 0/0 to the switch 1. Where is switch 1? Here. Gigabyte Ethernet 0/1. So where can you find it? Down. Click. Once you see the green light, that shows that it is successful. Let's proceed to the second one. The second one is what I want to do here. Okay, so follow me. Let's take the copper straight through. So we click from east to switch 4. But before we proceed, what interface on the east router? We have gigabyte 0/1. We are going to switch 4. And in this part, we're taking gigabyte Ethernet 0/1. Successful. Let's go to the third one on the table, which is from the east to PC1. So east to PC1 is here. So what cable? The same, copper straight through. So I'll take from here, what interface on the east router? Fast Ethernet 0/1/0. And when we get to the PC, fast Ethernet 0. Done. Let's go to the next one. The fourth one is east to PC2. So we click from here, we go to fast Ethernet 0/1/1 to the PCU, to the PC2, what do we have? Fast Ethernet 0. You click, done. Take again the copper straight through from East to PC3. Now this time, what should you take? Fast Ethernet 0/1/2. Move to PC3. In PC3, what do you take? Fast Ethernet 0. Done. Now, at this point, we are done with the East configuration for now. Let's go over to the switch. So we'll be implementing the switch 1. So that means we'll be covering this aspect in few minutes. Now let's do that immediately. Now we'll take from the switch 1 to PC4. What do we need? We still need the copper straight through. So from the switch, the interface fast Ethernet 0/1 to the PC4 fast Ethernet 0. Repeat the same for PC5. So fast Ethernet 0/2 to the PC5 fast Ethernet 0. Repeat again for PC6. Now from here, fast Ethernet 0/3 to the PC6 fast Ethernet 0. Done. Now let's go to other parts. So we'll try to finish this other part. Switch 4, switch to switch 3, and switch 3 to switch 2, and switch 2 to PC7, also to PC8, also to PC9. Okay, so let's just quickly finish to this point. Now for switch 4, look for it, it's here. What do we need? This time we need copper crossover. Where is copper crossover? Here. So you select it, S4, that is switch 4 to switch 3. But what do we need? We need the gigabytes 0/2. And we go to the switch 3. You click there. What do you need? 3/1. Gigabyte Ethernet 3/1. Done. Now switch 3 to switch 2. What do we need? This time they said we should use fiber. So can you see fiber here? Yes. So take it from switch 3 to switch 2. So from switch 3, it says we should take gigabyte Ethernet 5/1 to switch 2. And in switch 2, we need gigabyte Ethernet 5/1 also. Done. Switch 2 to PC7, PC8, and PC9. It means this device connecting to these 3 pieces. So let's see what we can do about it. Now for switch 2, what do we need to connect? Copper straight through, which is over here. So pick it up. Switch 2, fast Ethernet 0/1. Here. Click on PC7, fast Ethernet 0. Done. Take again the copper straight through. Now from switch 2 to PC8, what do we need? Fast Ethernet 0/1. Fast Ethernet 1/1. Now fast Ethernet 0. Done. Take again copper straight through from switch 2 to PC9. What do we take? We are going to use fast Ethernet 2/1. Click to PC9 and you get the fast Ethernet 0. Done. Now the next thing we need to do is switch 2 to the access points, and lastly east to west. Now let's do for switch 2 to the access point. Where is it? So switch 2 is here, access point is here. So let's proceed. What do we need? Copper straight through. You take the copper straight through and we click here. When we click here, we are going to take the gigabyte 3/1. Then we get to this point. All we can see here is port 0. Take it. Now, east to west. This is east. So where is west? This over here is west. Okay, so what do we do? Take your cable. Which cable do we need? This time, you can see that we need serial DCE. And pay attention to this information. It says connect to east first. So it means I'm going to click on the east router first and then go to the west router. Okay, so serial DCE, where is it? Over here, right? Yeah, the one with the clock sign. So take it, click from here. What do we need to take? Serial 0/0/0. Yeah. To west, what do we need? Serial 0/0/0. Done. So having done this, it means that we have fulfilled all the connections we need to do from this table. Congratulations on doing that with me. So let's move over to part 4. We have to check connectivity in this part. Now we'll start with step 1. It says check the interface status on east. How do we do that? Click the CLI tab and enter the following command: show IP interface brief. Show IP interface brief, this command. So let's go to east. Then you go to CLI and your enter key. So to get to the privilege mode, you're going to type EN and next you say show IP interface brief. So what do you have? Take a look at mine. Take a look at yours and back to the guide booklet. So I believe all of the cable is correct. So if they are, it's going to match with what you can see now from my own results. So let's go to step 2 and step 3. Step 2 says connect wireless devices, laptop and tablet PC. So let's see how we can go about that. So first of all, in 2A, it says click the laptop and select the configure tab. Select the wireless 0 interface. Put a check in the box, label on, next to port status. So not to talk too much, let's just add on that. So go to laptop here. Now, let me bring this over here. The next thing it says is click on configure tab, which you can see here. Then click on wireless 0 here and see this on. Okay, it say click on, so on it. You click, it will be on, and once it's on, take note, in few seconds you will see the wireless connection. Good. Now check for step 2B. For step 2B, it says click the desktop tab of the laptop. Click on the web browser icon to launch the web browser. You're going to type www.cisco.pka in the URL box, and then you click go. So go to the desktop, go to the browser. So you need to type www.cisco.pka and you click on go. Once you're done with that, it tells you welcome to Cisco Packet Tracer. Now we've done that. Good. To see, it says click the tablet PC and select the config tab. Select the wireless 0 interface. Put a check in the box labeled on next to port status. So this is quite similar to what you've done on the laptop. So let's do that together. So click on tablet PC. Click on configure. Now go to wireless, click on. Now you'll be able to see this connection. Cool. Now repeat the step in step 2B and verify the page display. So go to desktop, go to web browser, so you type www.cschool.pka and you click go. Done. So looking at step 3, in step 3, it says change the access method of the tablet PC. So we want to change that. Rather than using wireless, we want to use the cell tower. So let's see, how do we do that? Click the tablet PC and select the configure tab. Select the wireless interface. Uncheck the box labeled on next to the port status. It should now be clear and the wireless connection will drop. B, click the 3G or 4G cell 1 interface. Put a check in the box labeled on next to port status. So within a few seconds, you're going to see the cellular connection will appear. So let's do that. Go back to configure. All you need to do, come back to the wireless. Now uncheck the box. That means switch it off. Just say click back on on. After unchecking that box, click on 3G/4G cell 1 here. And then you click on the box. Once you're done, you're going to see this connection from the tablet PC to the cell tower. Now, can you see this connection here? Yeah. So, repeat the process of verifying the web access. So you can take that as your own task to do, okay? Now, you should not have both the wireless 0 interface and 3G/4G cell 1 interfaces active at the same time. This may cause confusion to the device when attempting to connect to some resources. So for step 4, check all the connectivity of the other PCs. All of the PCs should have connectivity to the website and each other. You will learn to use connectivity testing in many upcoming labs. So, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed this lab exercise with me. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, and to also watch my subsequent video by hitting the notification bell. I'll be signing off now. Do have a nice time. Bye.